Come check out Scabathrax the Bloated, Forge World's Lord of the Blighted Pit.
Spiky bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer, and we are taking a closer look at a painted Lord Scabathrax by White Metal Games. This is for my own personal army. I've had this model, well, I had this model, then I traded this model away, then I got the model back. Same exact model. That actually happens more often than not. And then I decided, finally, I don't have time to paint it, but it's the last thing I need for my Nurgle army. I want to get it done. So I hit up White Metal Games and say, yo, you want to paint this? Show it off to everybody. We'll make it semi-famous. They agreed. So here we are today. So I told them the colors that I use. They're actually a how to paint Plague Bear tutorial, the very first video tutorial I did on Spiky Bits, as a matter of fact. I want to say 5 or 6 years ago, we were using the old Badger miniature paints, which we've moved on from, but at the time, they were great because nobody had airbrush paints out there that really mimicked these fantastic colors for wargaming. But fast forward 5 or 6 years and it seems like everybody has a paint line, whether it's for airbrushing or for you to use for normal paints that you can actually airbrush, like the stuff like Army Painter, GW stuff, which, you know, there's all sorts of things to be said for GW and their airbrush line. I don't have any problems pushing their airbrush paints, but with my new airbrush, but with my older airbrushes, it was a bit of a thing, and it's kind of annoying at times. But yeah, like I said, there's so many different paint lines out there, and it's just funny to think that there was really one person that puts the stuff out back in the day. So when you have a painted army, you got to keep matching it. And what I like about White Metal is that they have all the paints. I've literally been to their facility. I've like, you guys have more paints than most game stores. And like, well, we have to match people's stuff. We have to, you know, have our existing schemes for our things, because, you know, when somebody wants something painted, they want to paint it a certain way, and they want it painted that way when they come back time after time and again. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. So that is what this tutorial or this hobby showcase is basically about, because they were able to match, and I have one of them right here, you know, the base scheme, the Nurgle, you know, green look, the rotted look, all of it matched it perfectly, and I loved it. So we're gonna take a look at that. We're gonna break down Lord Scabathrax because he's not quite as good as he was when 8th edition came out. But like I said, it was the very last thing I needed painted for my Nurgle army, so we had to have him. So here he is, Lord Scabathrax, in all his Nurgly goodness. I love this model. This thing's been out for about 10 years now. I think it came out, and we first saw him in the, what was it, the Vrax book? I think these guys were in the Vrax book all those years ago. I want to say 2006. So been about 12 years for Lord Scabathrax. Of course, now I think he's just a generic Greater Demon over on Forge World site, but he does have rules, which we'll get to here in a second. So, man, such a cool model, and we put him on a custom slate base from Elric's Hobbies, because it was the closest I could get to the old Micro Art Studios bases from back in the day, the Chaos Star ones. But here you can see very, very close. This guy's just a little bit lighter, but that's okay. So we got all the fades, all of the innards, everything is looking very similar here. They did a great job on the decayed metal, all the decayed insides here, the great purple sores and the pinks coming out like that, just looking sick. Great detail work on all the bone, and on the back there, the exposed vertebrae and everything. Not a spot missed on this bat. Even all the boils and things all brought through with a nice wash. Might have been a glaze, can't really tell 100% right there, but man, really loving this model. Like I said, the very last thing I needed painted for all of my Nurgle demons. Now, before we get to his rules, I wanted to hop over to White Metal Games website. A fantastic site. They have tons of features on here. Scroll down when they're live on Twitch, about 2 p.m. Eastern, give or take. They got all sorts of different things in here. Upcoming live streams. They do a little warm-up. Oh, there he is right there. I wanted to show you guys this one. So they've got And they sell a lot of stuff over on eBay, of course, too. But they'll definitely commission you things as well. But you can always peruse their wares over on eBay to kind of check out what they might be offering. Get back to that one. They have a huge gallery here of painted miniatures too. Over there he is, the very last one, of course. Let's see. Over in their Flickr Gallery, lots and lots of stuff in here as well that you can check out. Now this is a little bit different of a color scheme than what we have here, but again, they are matching an existing thing that had already been done. So fantastic work on this guy too, of course, combining some of those Maggotkin, I forget the old, not the Glotkin, but the, was it the Blight Lords that came out before him. But their site's very robust, lots of stuff going on here. You can check out pricing, you can hit them up, of course, live. They do a podcast, they got all this stuff about the commissions. You can even pay right here through their website. It's all very secure. So I've used these guys in the past. A great bunch of individuals. I love dealing with Caleb and his team whenever I need that special thing painted up. Now let's check out the rules for this bad boy, because I've been itching to talk to you about that. Now the rules for Scabathrax the Bloated are in the Index Forces of Chaos for Imperial Armor, currently page 56. He does have a points update. Unfortunately, he was 610 points, which I feel like kind of made him playable. Now he is a very rotund 777 points, which I feel like makes him almost unplayable in most games, unless you're just really trying to have fun and push some models around the table. Therefore, you could use him as a great Unclean one, of course. He is basically the same model, even has the same keyword in a lot of instances, but the great Unclean one is not that great. He's still Unclean, but he's not that great in Chaos Demons for 40k either, unfortunately. However, let's run down his stats. I mean, maybe he'll get a change in the near future. I don't know why Forge Rule models have been so heavily penalized by the chapter approved book, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So we got Scabathrax the Bloated. He's hitting both shooting and weapon skill in combat out of a 2-up. He's very, very hard to get, toughness 9 with 2 wounds, with his strength at 10 with 6 attacks all day. Now he has his vomit attack, which is a pistol at 2d6, which is a respectable strength 6, -2, d3 damage right there. He has the Blade of Decay. It's a melee weapon with +2 strength, -4 AP. It does 6 damage. It is the Ender of Men. Not want to get hit by this thing because he is going put a wicked bad hurting on whatever he contacts with. Then he's got his 2 little Nurglings that kind of are his bodyguard. He's a Demon Lord. He's got Disgustingly Resilient, so he's got a 4-up and Vulnerable with a 5-up Feel No Pain roll. He can be summoned. There is a special rule for it. Probably not worth doing, but we're not going to go over it. The Emissary of the Plague God. You may use this model's leadership for any friendly Nurgle units within 6 when morale tests are taken. And you must subtract 1 from hit rolls that target friendly Nurgling and demons within 6 of Scabathrax in the fight phase. And that's could have been so much better. Could have been. I could justify a 777 price tag if that was always. So if you could get the -1 just stock on the Nurglings and stuff and the Plague Bears, or the Plague Bears rather, that would have been money. And in combat and stack it. Whew. Let me tell you what, like that would be what's up. But that's not the case. That is not the case. However, it does help when you're in combat, but I feel like your Plague Bearers are not really there to be getting into combat in the first place. So I don't know where he fits in a lot of these builds. He does blow up on a D6, on a 4-up, in fact. He blows up D6 inches, doing D6 mortal wounds. He can cast 3 psychic powers and deny 3 psychic powers, and he knows 2 powers plus smite from the Nurgle discipline, which is in the Index Chaos and now also the Demon book too. So that kind of comes full circle. He is a great Unclean one. He is a monster. He is a demon. He is Titanic. and he is a very, very, very big model, both points wise and stature on the tabletop. So that's it. I wish he was better, but like I said, the last model for my Nurgle army, how many times can you say you got the last model painted for any army out there? So we'll take it. He might not be that good now, but hey, the way Games Workshop changes their rules, you just never know what is about to come down the pipe for this big bad guy right here. And special thanks to White Metal Games for painting this up for me. Make sure you check out their site, whitemetalgames.com, for all your commission needs. They have a ton of talented folks over there. They have a huge facility, a great bunch of individuals, and really, really talented artists. You can check them out on Twitch, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and of course hit them up for anything you might be thinking of. Like I said, they have a tremendous range of talent over there.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,